Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? I've got an exhaust pipe here, look. I reckon we should put it on this Truggy. Think that's a good idea? Well, I reckon it's worth a go anyway. Come on. Right. Over the weekend, it's a Sunday evening now. Not Sunday, it's bloody Monday evening now. And over the weekend, I took this Truggy out for a little bit of a run. And I tell you what, it ran, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Such a nice Truggy, and that engine is out of this world. Now, I've got to do a little bit of a tweak to the steering, but you know, I've done all the little bits indoors. I've got a few more things to do this evening, but I made a cup of coffee and I thought, you know what, I'm going to come and do a few things to this Truggy. Now, I had a box full of engines and exhausts and all kinds of stuff, and I found it over the weekend because it went missing. The whole box of it, all Nova engines, Nova parts, all bits and bobs. Now, I was rummaging through it after I found it, and in it was this Jamin JP2. Now, I've not actually ran this pipe. Look, it's more or less brand spanking new. There's nothing inside there, and you know, it has been ran, but not much. Anyway, this pipe, which is on this engine, don't know what pipe it is. We might be able to find something when I take it off, but I don't know what pipe it is. The manifold doesn't quite fit, and the pipe's a bit too long. Now, I don't know whether the manifold's going to fit any better on there, but this pipe's slightly shorter, which should mean that the little hanger should fit a bit better, and I think it'll just be a better pipe overall. I don't really know how well it's going to couple up to the engine, but I don't care, to be fair. We're just going to find out. I reckon it'll be alright, but listen, if you start worrying about little things like that, if you don't try stuff, you'll never find out if anything's going to be, you know, you'll never learn anything if you don't try. So let's get a pair of pliers. Got my trusty bent long nose pliers. It took me a while to get these springs on, and now I've got to take them off, but that's fine. So we'll take this off. Now, I know how this engine ran, and I know how well this engine ran with the current exhaust, so it will be interesting to see how it's going to respond to having this other exhaust on there. It's going to be a different manifold and a different pipe. If I can ever get these springs off. They were so tight, it took me a while to get them on here. But we will do it. There's always a way. Where there is a will, there is a way, and we'll always get around little things like this. They're Nova springs, so they're very good quality. Right, let's get this exhaust off. Now, I had a bit of trouble with the gasket fitting, so hopefully that must have been leaking. That must have been leaking around the bottom there, because this is a brand spanking new gasket. Brand new, literally brand new Reds gasket. And it's already done that. So that's not very good, is it? Hopefully this manifold will fit a little bit better. No, it's the same. What a bastard. That's an actual bastard, that is. Let me go and have a look to make sure I haven't got a proper gasket. Now, I rummaged through this toolbox the last time I was trying to find a gasket, but to be fair, I was in a bit of a rush. Kind of. Not so much of a rush today. We got exhaust gaskets for a 2-stroke, like a petrol 2-stroke. We've got a spur gear, 47 tooth spurs. This is all HPI stuff though. Got some wheel nuts and things like that. Those aren't really going to be a lot of good. Not for what we want anyway. When you believe it, this toolbox is more than 20 years old, getting on for 25 years old. Mad, isn't it? Somebody wanted to buy this off me, this pull start, but it is. I need it. It goes to my K4.6, so I need it. Unfortunately, I didn't realise it, but apparently these are getting quite difficult to get hold of. I didn't realise that, but apparently they are. Got another pull start there. What's this? What is this? These might be what we're after all. Look, fast tracks, 1/8 manifold LD exhaust seals is what they call that. All right, right under our nose. These might be what we want. There is a difference, by the way. There is a difference between the two different types of exhaust gaskets. Now, I'll show you actually. Let me show you. Come up here again, and I'll show you. So, you'll notice that the likes of these ones, they've got a little bit of a ridge, a little bump. See that little bump they've got? This is a proper reg one, and it's already disintegrated. So that's literally had one run. I literally put it on there and then went out, and that was that. But anyway, we're not gonna go on about that. So there's a little bump there, a little ridge, which I'm sure you can see. Now, really, those go on the join here, but you can fit them on the manifold sometimes on some engines, but usually. That's why, you know, I was bodging this up. And to be honest, if I am honest, when I bought this from Answer RC, I thought, because there was a pack of 2, I thought that one had the bump and one didn't. But that's not the case. They both had the bump. So I put one of them went on there to renew that gasket, and I thought the other one would go for this, but because they both had the bump, it didn't fit. So I just bodged it on. Which is probably why that's done that. So the other type, which is usually what you'd find on the engine to manifold, doesn't have, hopefully this is the ones that I'm after. It looks like it is through the thing. I don't know why we've got one blue and one yellow, but I'm sure there's a reason. Anyway, so these ones don't have a bump. See, they're flat. They're completely flat. There's no bump. So this should be the one that will fit. That goes on there like that. And this should now, I might have to put a little bit of oil on it just to slide it in. Where's my oil gone? Oh, there it is. Put a little bit of oil on there. In fact, I'll put it around here. Be easier. And see, that will burn off when the engine gets up to temp. That will burn off and it won't cause any trouble. Sometimes it's a good idea just to put a little bit of oil on. There we go. And that goes on there like that. That fits a lot better than the other one did. So, and that hanger should now reach. There we go. There we go. That's better. Kind of. Might have to bend the hanger a little bit just to make that fit, but it does fit quite well. Alright, let's get the springs on. Obviously this JP... Oh, what's happened here? Oh no, is that broken? Oh no, screws just come loose. Hopefully this JP2 complements this engine quite well, but listen, I know there's going to be some of you out there that are going to be shouting at the screen going, no, it doesn't work, it won't work because of this, and I've tried it and it doesn't work, it won't work, the engine won't like it, blah blah blah. But I think it'll be fine. I've got the JP6 on my MP9, and that I do things awkwardly. I'm trying to do it in a way that so that you can see, which means for me it's quite cack-handed and it makes things quite awkward. What was I saying? Yeah, I got the JP6 on my MP9, and that's a fantastic engine, fantastic exhaust. It made it sound a lot deeper, and it brought out quite a bit of power in it. So yeah, really pleased with that. I need either the proper tool for this, or I need a better pair of pliers. Right, bear with me a minute while I get this done. I know you like watching me struggle, but it's going to be a bloody long video if I do. There we go. That's that on. It took me a little while. I managed to get. I just loosened off the little holder for the bracket, the exhaust hanger bracket, and I can move that round. I managed to get that straight in there. Managed to get the Allen key through that hole it's supposed to go through to do that up. Springs are on. Took a little while. Different set of pliers. Obviously these Nova springs are a bit shorter than the ones that are meant for this engine, but they, you know, I shopped at Answer RC and they only had Nova exhaust springs. They didn't have any other exhaust springs, in fact. So, you know, whether the Reds ones that are meant for this WR7 are a bit longer, I don't know, but usually exhaust springs aren't that tight to get on. You know, on all my Nova engines, the B3, B5R, Evo and all the other ones, they've not been that tight. So I can only assume that this has got a bit of a bigger block, and these springs, you know, they're not designed for that big of a block. I don't know, maybe you lot can tell me the reason why that is. I mean, they should be tight. They should be difficult to pull around and get on, because obviously they've got to pull that manifold in and create a seal around the gasket, so they should be tight. But they're not normally that tight, so I reckon it's just a case of those springs, which are designed probably for Nova engines, being Nova springs, are not quite as long as the ones that are meant for that WI7 are. But anyway, regardless of that, I'm going to save this gasket, because although it's got a little bit nibbled out the bottom of it, it's still a good gasket. I can still use it on something else. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. So that's going to go back in there. The other thing I need to do to this Truggy is a little tweak. Oh, let's have a look at this pipe. See what kind of pipe this is. Now, the bloke that I bought this Truggy from, a subscriber, he did say, I'm sure he said that what pipe it was that was going to go with it, but I can't remember what he said. But this has absolutely no markings on it, and he dropped it. No markings on it whatsoever. None. So I don't know what pipe this is. Maybe you're a bit of a pipe geek and you know what this is, but I don't. I haven't got a clue. A lot of people often think that I know answers to things like this, but I don't. I just wing life. I wing life and I don't know anything. Simple as that. So anyway, that can go in a thing. That can go. Do you know what? Once, right, a viewer sent me an exhaust pipe, and then he got the ump. He said, "I'm never going to send anything to any YouTuber ever again, just because I think I didn't open it or video it for, I don't know what it was, about a week or something." Yeah, he got the ump. I'll never forget that. He polished it. Didn't do a very good job at polishing it, to be fair, but he polished it and everything and sent it to me, and then he got the ump over it. And I thought to myself, you know, the mentality of some people. Right, so when I was driving this, it was always going to the left. Now, that's a brand new servo that I put on, and when I put it on, I was in a little bit of a rush, and I did centre it on the transmitter, but I obviously didn't do a very good job of it. So what we're going to do is we'll turn it on. Whee! Now I've got it all the way to the... Oh, I did have it all the way to the left. Oh, I did. I got it all the way to the left on the transmitter to try and compensate, and that made it go in a straight line. So let's get it all the way. It's now at 0, and as you can see it is pointing somewhat to the left. So all we got to do is quite a simple thing. That one, that one. We've just got to undo this. See, some people would have the trim and leave it like that, but I like all the trims to be at 0 if possible, because then I've got more room for adjustment. If you've already got it fully adjusted, you've got no room for future adjustment if you ever need to when you're out and about. Do you know what I mean? A bit of fine tuning. Anyway, get that off of there, and then all we got to do is put the wheels as straight as possible. Don't know about from where you're sitting. Actually, on the camera screen there, that doesn't look straight, but in my eyes that looks completely straight. So we'll see how this goes. Right, that's now on. That to me, to my eyes, looks completely straight. I don't know what it looks like to yours. Now, I'm not going down the route of doing what some of you do and doing all the bollocks with putting it on a jig or doing this and that. I don't care about that. Blimey. I just like it to be reasonably straight. And then I can do a small amount of fine adjustment on the trim if needs be, but I do try and get it so that 0 is straight if I can. So, yeah. Happy days. There we go. Quite pleased with that servo as well. That looks a lot straighter than it was anyway, so... Oh, great. There we go. That's quite nice. Oh, I've got to do up that screw, haven't I? There's a screw here, which is loose. I've noticed there's quite a lot of loose screws, nuts and bolts on this Truggy. Quite a lot of them are stripped out, but that's what happens, you know. That's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes, there, John, you know. So there we go. As far as the test drive goes over the weekend, it went phenomenally. It was funnily enough, if you haven't watched the video, go back and watch it. But the glow plug was loose and it came out, and I was thinking, what's going on here? And it was in the end of my glow starter. I don't know how that happened. It got so loose that it was still running, but not very well. And I brought it back. I don't know what I'd done something. I can't remember what I did now. I did something. Anyway, and I went to put the glow starter back in, try and start. It wouldn't start, so pulled the glow starter out, put it on the boot of the car, done something else, can't remember what I did. Anyway, went to pick the glow starter up to put it in to start it, and I was like, where's the glow plug gone? And then I was like, where's the glow plug? I looked, it's in the end of the blooming glow starter, wasn't it, glowing away like a little Cheshire cat smiling at me. And I'm thinking, blimey. So I was driving it around with a glow plug that was so loose, it come out in the glow starter. Anyway, put it back in, and it was brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. This engine's a true trooper, I suppose some of you would say. It's a properly nice engine, and this is a properly nice Truggy. So I'm really excited to see how well it goes with this JP2, because the JPs are a fantastic group of exhausts. As I say, I got the JP6 on the MP9 with the KE21, and it made it a lot deeper sounding, but it also opened it up. It made it raw and it made it fly. So how well this is going to couple up to it, I don't know. We'll find out. I was toying with the idea of getting a Reds pipe to match the engine, you know, so it's Reds on Reds, but I may or may not, but they're a lot of money, so I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. Obviously, I don't like to buy stuff unless I really have to, but it would be nice to do that. And I really like this Truggy, so this is definitely a keeper. That's for sure. This is a good old Truggy. I thought I tightened that up. Anyway, there we go. So I was just playing around, right, and I put the shell on. I've not really liked how this shell sits from day one, to be honest. I think it's far too high. I don't know why it's so bloody high. It's ridiculous. Somebody's put the body posts on really high for some reason. I don't like that. And now the exhaust I put on, it looks stupid like that. So, I have got another shell, but I like the purple one. So what I'm going to do, let's play around with the body posts. Let's see if we can lower it down. Now you lot know that I like low shells on cars, you know. Savages, I have the shells right down as low as they'll go. Some people have them right jacked up. I think they look ridiculous like that, to be fair. Absolutely ridiculous. But everyone, you know, each to their own and all that stuff. So let's see, can we adjust these to start with? And if we can't, I might see if I can jerry-rig something to make them a bit lower. But let's undo this. I think we can go down a notch. Yeah, we can go down one notch. There's only one notch of play, but it might end up being better than it was. So we'll see. Put in the comments, how do you like your shells on your cars? Do you like them low? Or are you one of these people that has them ridiculously high, looking quite stupid? I don't know. But comment. I want to know all about it. Now, where's the hole? Should be around there somewhere. So it looks like we can make it go even lower by putting the screw in, only using one screw and putting it in one hole, rather than using both screws. But for now we've gone down, we're still using both screws, but we've gone down the one notch that there is. But if I put the screw in the bottom hole, and I'll better make it go down even the bottom hole on the plate, but the top hole on the thing, I'll go even lower, but I'll only have one screw in it. So anyway, we'll play around with it and see. Hopefully it looks a lot better just with that one, and I ain't going to mess around with any more of that. Let's have a look and see what it's all about. Let's have a look and see. Let's have a look and see. Well, it's better. That is better. Could do with going a bit lower if you ask me, but it is better than it was. It doesn't look quite so stupid now. Let's have a look at this other shell. It goes like that. Oh, that's nice, and that hugs that exhaust really well there. I like that one, but I like the purple shell. But I like the way this yellow one sits. It sits a lot better. It sits really well. And it hugs the pipe. It's not touching it, well maybe a gnat's, but a little bit, but it hugs it nicely, look. And there's no big gap around the arches. Yeah, really nice. But I do quite like the purple one. I think I asked you before what one you liked, and I can't remember now what everyone said, to be honest. So we've got yellow and red there, or purple. I know, it's tricky, isn't it? It really is. It's tricky. That is tricky. I don't really like this. I don't like the way the front looks on this yellow one. I think that looks a bit gay, you know. I don't know what one it would have come with when it was new. I'm going to leave the purple one on it. It looks better with the post a bit lower. I know it doesn't hug the exhaust quite so well, and the gap looks a bit daft, but yeah, I'm going to leave the purple one on it, I think. Yeah. And you lot put in the comments which one you prefer, because I'd love to know, and I may change it back. I used to go down the route when I was younger of changing shells, you know, buying new ones and changing shells off them. But now I've got older, I've realised that that's just a complete waste of money. You know, I keep buying new shells and stuff because, well, is it a necessity? Not really. You know, just use the one you've got. And, you know, is it really, they break anyway, they get scuffed up. So spending £40–50 on a body shell is completely pointless. So I don't do it anymore, and I won't do it. The Savage 21's had the same body shell on it for 20 odd years, and it's fine. It's a bit damaged, but it's fine. Anyway, you lot, hope you enjoyed sort of just chilling out with me on a Monday evening. I just wanted to put that exhaust on. I wanted to see if it was going to fit, and I wanted to see what it was going to look like. I'm not going to start it up this evening, but we'll start it up another day. In fact, maybe at the weekend I'll go and give this car another run with that exhaust, and we'll compare it and see. I reckon it's going to work well. I reckon they're going to like each other, and I reckon it's going to sound really nice. I reckon it's going to sound deep, smooth and crisp, because that's what these jamming pipes do. They make engines sound smooth and crisp. They're really good pipes. I'll catch you lot on the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. All the best. And I'm doing my best to try and find some barn finds for some Will It Run videos. It's not going particularly well at the moment. eBay is... Everybody wants mega money for something which doesn't deserve mega money. So I think things are selling, but I ain't paying £100 odd for something that's been under someone's bed for years. No way. I'll catch you later on. All the best. Take care. Be nice to people. Don't be a cock.